Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is Sports Dom coming back with another video, and this is my Houston Roughnecks at Orlando Guardians post-game recap. So, the Orlando Guardians get blown out at Camping World Stadium in Orlando, Florida. The Orlando Guardians were at home. They get blown out by the Houston Roughnecks 44-16. Worse than what they were blown out in Houston week one. Because in Houston week one they were blown out 33-12. This week they're blown out 44-16. So the Houston Roughnecks improved to 4-0 on the season, and the Orlando Guardians fall to 0-4. So I think another trade needs to be made for the Orlando Guardians. I don't know what's going on with the Guardians, but TJ Storment made his Guardians debut. He had a pretty good game, although the protection, the rest of the offensive line just was non-existent. Paxton Lynch and DeAndre Francois were under siege a lot in this game, and I don't know if it's the coach, or I don't know, but head coach Terrell Buckley needs to do something, or maybe at the end of the season they need to look for another coach, because this is Terrell Buckley's first head coaching job. We probably got to give him, a couple years, but the Orlando fans, are getting impatient, as they should. Borregales had a good game, though, as far as field goals go, and I just, I don't know what's going on with them, but let's recap it right now. So Paxton Lynch was 18 of 30 for 267 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. They should have kept DeAndre Francois in the game when he came in for Paxton Lynch. He moved him right down and got points. They got a field goal, but DeAndre Francois was 1 for 4 for 19 yards. Rushing, Devin Darrington had 12 carries for 40 yards. Jermaine Martin, 4 carries, 20 yards. Thomas, 2 carries, 16 yards. DeAndre Francois, 1 carry, 6 yards. Paxton Lynch, 2 carries, no yards. Receiving, Charleston Rambo had 2 receptions, 89 yards, and a touchdown. They also had an 81-yard touchdown pass. And that was to Smith. But Cody Latimer had 4 receptions, 57 yards. Lance Lenoir, 3 receptions, 36 yards. Smith, 1 reception, 31 yards, and a score. So that 81-yard pass was to Charleston Rambo. I'm sorry, it says it here in the stats. Smith had 1 reception, 31 yards, and a touchdown. Eli Rogers, 2 receptions, 23 yards. Carter, 2 receptions, 19 yards. Devin Darrington, 2 receptions, 17 yards. Thomas, 2 receptions, 14 yards. Paxton Lynch, 1 reception, no yards. So, I'm not sure what's going on with the Orlando Guardians, but something. I don't know if another trade being made would help this team. I think they need a lot of moves before the XFL trade deadline. I know it's only week 4, but they only play a 10-week season, so they have to turn it around, right away. And their schedule gets tougher. They got the Vegas Vipers coming up. They got the Seattle Sea Dragons coming up. They still got to play the St. Louis Battlehawks. They got Arlington again, San Antonio again. So It doesn't get any easier. Um, but week 5, I believe they play the um, Vegas Vipers, and that should be a good game. Um, yeah, week 5 they play at the Vegas Vipers, and then week 6 they're home against the Seattle Sea Dragons. So that should be a good one. Seattle's winning right now over the San Antonio Brahmas 9-6. So Uh, and then week 7, we're home against the DC Defenders. Week 8, home against the Arlington Renegades. Week 9, at the San Antonio Brahmas. And then week 10, the Orlando Guardians finish on the road at the St. Louis Battlehawks. So we don't see them until week 10, but we can go 6-4, but it's highly unlikely. We may not, we may go 0-10, but I think they're gonna win here soon. Um, Vegas is winless. They play tomorrow. They're 0-3. Um, and I think after tomorrow they'll be 0-4. So it'll be a battle of the only two winless teams in the XFL, the Vegas Vipers and the Orlando Guardians. One of them's gonna win unless they tie. Wouldn't that be something if we tie the Vegas Vipers? But and then Jack Cohn, or no, not Jack Cohn. Brandon Silvers went for the Houston Roughnecks, went 24 of 30 for 239 yards, 3 touchdowns. Kirkland 1 of 1 for 49 yards and a touchdown. McDonald 2 for 2 for 14 yards. So Brandon Silvers had 3 touchdown passes in this game in a 44-16 blowout of the Orlando Guardians. Rushing, Lee had 6 carries, 45 yards, and 2 touchdowns. McDonald, two carries, 31 yards. Eileen, 6 receptions, 20 yards, or 6 carries, 20 yards. And Brandon Silvers, 1 carry for -1 yard. Receiving, Harris had 3 receptions, 83 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Burnett, 3 receptions, 62 yards, and a touchdown. Kirkland, 2 receptions, 49 yards, and a touchdown. Bird, 7 receptions, 37 yards. Holly, 3 receptions, 28 yards. Lee, 3 receptions, 17 yards. Putman, 1 reception, 10 yards. Smith, 2 receptions, 8 yards. And Aileen, 3 receptions, 8 yards. On the defense for Houston, Ellerby had 11 tackles, 7 assists, and a half a sack. So Ellerby, was the best player on the field for Houston on the defense. Tashada had 5 tackles, 2 assists. Ward, 5 tackles, 1 assist, and a sack. Beckett, 5 tackles, 1 assist. Donker, 4 tackles, 4 assists. Logan, 4 tackles, 3 assists. Harris, 4 tackles, 2 assists, and a sack and a half. Mosley had 4 tackles, 2 assists, and a forced fumble. Heflin, 2 tackles, 1 assist. Hendy, 2 tackles. Mason, 2 tackles, and a sack. Davis, 2 tackles. Daka, 2 tackles, and an assist. Brewer, 1 tackle, 1 assist. Johnson, 1 tackle. Wiley, 1 tackle, 1 assist. Likely, 1 tackle, 1 assist. Kick returns. Lee had 3 returns for 86 yards. Aileen, 1 return for 11 yards. Punt returns. Likely had 2 returns for 26 yards. Harris, 1 return for 9 yards. And punting, Porter had 5 punts for 221 yards and 1 inside the 20. So, it wasn't good for Orlando. And now they go to Vegas next week to take on the Vipers. So Terrell Buckley has some things to work out. I think another trade or two is needed. They need to make some roster moves. They need a QB. I do like DeAndre Francois. They should have kept him in, but they need to restructure this offensive line because this offensive line is god awful. So guys, comment in the comment section below on what you think. And as always, if you like my videos, like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification so you don't miss a video. Uh, I got episode 14 of Player Profile coming up, which the focus this week is on Jack Cohn, QB of the San Antonio Brahmas in the XFL. And I got my New York Rangers at Buffalo Sabres recap coming up. And then, of course, I will have my uh, Orlando Guardians at Vegas Vipers preview XFL Week 5. That'll be, I'll get that up sometime before the game next week. So, um, go Guardians, and let's beat the Vegas Vipers. Let's get our first win of the year. Go Guardians.